Hi guys, hi, welcome back, welcome back. I am so sorry about earlier. I'm so sorry about earlier. Things happen and Wi-Fi's get messed up, but I'm happy to have you back. I'm happy you guys are coming back in. I hope you're looking forward to tonight's episode. We have for me is probably one of my favorite YouTubers of all time. His name is Michael Korte. He literally is the king of the Broadway gospel R&B mashup. So we're gonna get the opportunity to talk to him, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. Hopefully he comes on, and we can get things rocking. But thank you guys for understanding, and for those of you who were like DMing me, oh, is everything okay? Yes, we are okay. Alexis Hollins, her Wi-Fi messed up, then her phone overheated. You know, that's what happens when you do not have an iPhone. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? My life changed forever when I went from Samsung to iPhone. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I haven't had to deal with my phone overheating. You feel me? So, yeah. I'm just saying, for those of you who don't have the iPhone, get it. It's important. But yeah. I'm sorry about that. But what we're going to do is we're going to do the episode over. You know, this is like the fourth time, but we'll get it. We'll get it. I promise you, we'll get it right. Like I said before, it's hard to do these shows when they're live and we can't cut it and edit it, chop it in, make it look pretty and then present it to you. It literally is what it is. You feel me? So I hope that he's on. I never bring my other phone in here when I do these lives, and then I'm kind of like stuck like waiting for the artist to come in. So I'm literally just waiting right now for Michael to come on. I wish y'all guys can do me a favor and go to Michael Courte's page and be like, yo, Courtney waiting for you. Like, you know what I mean? But I reached out, so hopefully he's on his way in. I don't know if he thought that I didn't really kind of get into Eastern Standard or whatever time he's in. Hopefully he's in Eastern Standard Time, because I'm in Eastern Standard Time. You feel me? But we'll see. We'll definitely see what's going on. How are y'all doing though? For those of you who are tuning in right now, how are you doing? How's your quarantine been? How's life since COVID been for you? What has been your favorite quarantine snacks? We were talking about that with Alexis earlier. Not was telling everybody my favorite quarantine snack was the cookies and cream milk chocolate, the bar. And I literally ate that every day. And then one day I was like, if I eat another cookies and cream bar, I might as well go work for Hershey and his brothers. No lie. No lie, I swear. It was insane. It was literally insane. Thank you guys for coming in. Once again, if you were here earlier, I'm sorry about it earlier. Wi-Fi was acting up on the other person's end, not mine, because you know this iPhone is lit. You feel me? Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its. I could throw down some Cheez-Its. Not eat a box. I used to be able to eat a box by myself. No lie. I swear to God, I could eat a box of Cheez-Its by myself. Now, I won't. But before, you couldn't tell me nothing about a box of Cheez-Its. It's been different. No, I get that. I know me personally, I suffer from COVID. So for those of you who don't, I'm really transparent about that. But I suffered from COVID. I had COVID for about like a month. And then it was gone. You know what I mean? But I went through COVID. So I definitely understand Krispy Kreme apple pies. Are they two different things? Those of you who are just coming in, I want to know what your quarantine snacks were or are. While we're waiting for Michael to come in, I'm a foodie. And I'm like, as I'm talking to you guys right now, my mouth is salivating. I'm watering. Mouth is watering. I literally am hungry. Like right now. I'm starving. I've been on this diet, so I've been watching what I eat. Oh, he's here. Okay, we're going to get Michael in, and let's go. They're apple pies. Hey!
I'm so sorry I'm late.
No, it's okay. We were talking about, I'll ask you too. We were literally talking about what we've been eating during quarantine. Um,
Everything.
what what has been some of your favorite quarantine snacks?
Bread.
Mm.
Bread. Anything carb,
Oh my
anything.
god. Oh,
In fact, I was just saying with my friends, by the way, hi, how are you? Great to see you.
you can see
I,
you.
I was just saying with friends, um, how I've been finding ways of like dipping carbs into carbs, if that makes
Mm.
sense.
Oh my god.
Like
My mouth started leaking.
if they're, like, why just have mashed potatoes? Like, I want to be able to take, bread and
Yeah.
scoop up the
It's
mashed potatoes with bread.
yes,
Like, I don't,
everything.
I don't just want mac and cheese. Like, I want to scoop up the mac and cheese with tortilla chips.
Yes,
So,
everything. I had to learn to pull back because I was going to be a brick house inside of a warehouse had I not stopped. But yeah. But thank you for coming on.
you're so
Thank you
welcome.
for being here, and thank you for understanding about last week. It was just bananas last week.
How are you feeling?
I feel much better. I felt fine then. It was just literally I was overexerting myself with my workout, and they were like, "Just relax, like take it one day at a time," type thing. You know what I mean? So I'm thankful to have you, everybody. This is Michael Korte. For those of you who do not know this, this great YouTuber of all time, I call him the GOAT of YouTube. Man, let me tell you something. The first time I ever saw you or knew of who you were was when I saw Gaga for Rent. And I don't even remember how I stumbled upon that, but it was one of
Mhm.
those things where I'm just like going through YouTube. I think I was watching like Rent clips and then
Right.
yours popped up. And I don't think my life has ever been the same again. So, oh my God. So please tell everybody, how did you get your start?
Yeah. Um, I went to school for performance, for acting,
Mm-hmm.
and one thing that my teachers just drilled into our head was if the work is not coming, you have to create the work yourself.
Mm.
And that's how this all just started.
Yeah.
I graduated school, and I was getting auditions, and it just was nothing that was really setting my soul on fire. It was just
Yeah.
all kind of crap. It was kind of just being the chubby best friend or this or
Mm-hmm.
that or um, so I knew very quickly I would have to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And um, and at the time, um, this was even 5 years ago when YouTube stars weren't even as big as they are right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so YouTube just seemed like a place where I could make a home for myself. I
Yeah.
call it like my little digital real estate. I could find real
Mm-hmm.
estate on YouTube to do my own thing. And that's how this all started, out of necessity of just needing to flex.
Yeah. And I know
Wanting,
like
yeah,
even in kind of like making a lane for yourself, people were already trying to box you in like, hey, this is gonna be the next Ryan Seacrest. When in reality you were like, oh no, I want to be like the next Rosie O'Donnell. Like, so how was that process?
yeah, I moved to LA 5 years ago, right when I started my channel. And I'm just a kid from Ohio, so immediately in LA, there's a need for them to classify you, right?
Yeah.
So like you are either an actor, or you're a model, or you're a singer,
Yeah.
um, and in the acting world, there's this little offshoot, you know, hosting, um,
Mm-hmm.
where you can be, um, a Ryan Seacrest kind of
Right.
kind of a thing. And that I thought that'd be really cute for a minute because I thought all that meant was reading off a teleprompter and having to smile and look cute.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I quickly realized that was not
Not
how
for
that
you.
worked, or not for me. Um, yeah, and I've always loved theater, and music is my true love. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, so that whole Ryan Seacrest dream evaporated very quickly.
Yeah. So like that was like back in 2015. So then in 2016 is when you first started your YouTube like superstardom. So what that's basically call it what it is. I'm gonna call it what it is. Like um your first one that you did, your first match. First of all, let's talk about before we even get there.
Hmm.
What inspired you to do such a Broadway gospel R&B type mashup? Because first, I've never seen anybody else besides you do something like that, and you blend it so well. Where do you get the inspiration from?
Yeah, so I mean, I just grew up, uh, and I was like watching YouTube in the middle of the night, like I would
Mm-hmm.
just be trying to find like clips of Lilius White or even like Shoshana Bean, uh, I just grew up having an affinity for people that could sing,
Yeah.
actually sing, um, and uh, so, that was that. I grew up being a fan of voices and obsessed with artists,
Mm-hmm.
some of whom were on Broadway, but they didn't fit that traditional Broadway
Right.
boring Caucasian skinny
Yeah.
model of doing things. Um, so yeah, and I mean I love gospel music. I love R&B music. So there I can't take on Broadway content without
Uh-huh.
bringing in some outside influence.
Yeah, and it's like it's so I call it I can't help it. It's so like swagalicious. Like you just have such a way that you kind of do it. Is there a process for you, or is it like something where you just kind of come up with it and just run with it?
I mean, I'm really blessed. I think a lot of the swagaliciousness comes from with, uh, you know, my friends that help me build these projects, um, and the talent that I get to work with. Um, I was just thinking about that earlier because I'm working on a couple new projects right now,
Uh huh.
and everything's different. Some ideas literally, which I actually think are always the best ideas, just kind of fall into my mind, just like fall into my gut, fall into my spirit out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But I think that happens for a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but
And I
other
think
times,
especially now, right? Especially now more than ever, in like the stillness of everything,
yeah,
being able to just be one with your thoughts in the universe and kind of just like have those moments, you know?
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, these last few months are a whole different discussion because there's been so much sadness and corruption and whatever that I feel like I'm having to completely rediscover myself as an artist. But
Yeah.
besides that point, um, yeah, I mean, some ideas, some projects come out of necessity. Some come out of wanting to, when I put my PR hat on and I'm like, I need to do this because this is what people are going to be talking about. And, we need the views, we need the this. So
Yeah.
everything has been different. But
Hmm.
it all has to sit well with my spirit, before it
Yeah.
takes off.
Yeah. I love the fact that you incorporate like people of color, you incorporate LGBTQ community. What inspires you to want to keep it within the marginalized communities?
Hmm. You know, my I've been asked that, and my go-to answer has always been just like, I work, you know, I'm kind of almost greedy in the fact that I want to work with the most talented people,
Hmm.
hands down. So to me, um, that I just went with the most talented person in the room, if that makes sense.
Right.
Um, but really, the last few months have taught me. I mean, I've been very conscious of the casting decisions that I've made. To say
Yeah.
that would be a lie, and frankly, you can turn on YouTube or the television or go pay a lot of money at the movies, and you're going to see the same shit.
It's true.
And that's that. And it is the, I don't get it. I don't know what, you can turn on YouTube. There are so many white people doing the whitest versions of things. And I don't really mean that as shade. It's
It's
just
the
kind of the
truth.
truth, you know? And there are other members of other communities that are making sure they cast plenty of white, cis white people on their channels as well. And that's their choice as well.
Yeah.
Um, it's just who I am, you know?
Yeah.
I have realized that it's such an incredible privilege. Um, and it's just, it will continue to be the roadmap. That's it. That's
Hmm.
just that. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
What
How can you
what did
not?
you
I was just gonna
so
say
go ahead.
how can you not? You know, I'm a member of the LGBT community. Why would I not want to see my people win? You know, how
Right.
could I
Right.
not give them opportunity?
Right.
That's just you know,
Right.
that's how.
And I feel like, and like you were saying, like, and let's be really clear, like talent is talent, and you could feel that and you can see that like as soon as it's presented to you. You know what I mean? So like
Right.
it is what it is. Like we shouldn't sugarcoat the fact that in these communities, this is where the most talent is. Period. I'm just gonna be completely honest. It's where the most talent is.
No, I 100% agree. It, it,
Yep. And
it doesn't mean that members of other communities aren't talented,
aren't
um,
talented, right?
but I mean,
Yeah.
facts are facts.
It is what it is. So when did you know that like this was it? Like this is something that you that it was meant to be. It had to happen. Like after you did your first one, or when did you know like this was something that was meant to go to fruition?
Um, we had put out the first mashup back in 2016, the Hamilton and Beyonce mashup,
Oh,
and that was
whew.
that was the first music video I'd ever created in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And we put it out on an afternoon. I think it was maybe a Monday. And I went with my roommate to the gym. And on the walk home from the gym, my friend called me. My friend Emily called, and she said, "Your mashup is the number one story on Entertainment Weekly right now."
Mm.
And I was just like, "What?" So I, ran to my laptop to verify if she was lying or not.
Uh-huh.
And she was not lying. And that was a wild, wild ride, the reception
Yeah.
to that first video. And, it was that night or the day after where it's like, shit, um,
Mm-hmm.
I have to do more.
Right.
And there was
Right.
nothing else planned. It was just an idea, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing on the back burner. But
Oh,
it became clear there needed to be more.
right. And you give so many people. What I love and I've kind of read is that you don't kind of go out and audition these people. They come and they ask you, and then you allow them the opportunity to do so, which to me can be like a hit or miss depending on who the person is. So like, how do you not do like a test one to say, okay, well you want to do this, but maybe your gift is not in singing. You know what I mean?
It's so funny because just recently with Bryson, who's an amazing artist I work with, and people have been saying, why are there not auditions? Like, I want to
Mm-hmm.
audition. Why don't you have auditions?
Right.
Um, so that's something that might be coming. I'm not sure. There have, between you and I, there have been a few times we've gotten into the studio, into the recording booth, and we've been like, oh, maybe we should have asked them for a clip or something of them singing
Right.
this specific material.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe they just found a way to kind of flex in their own way on something else that we
Mm-hmm.
heard them do. Um, but yeah, also, I mean, auditioning and costs money, and
Yeah.
funds are not always available for that. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, I think there's a little bit of an ego thing attached to it. Like, come
Yeah.
audition for me. Like, what, like, I'm important enough to have auditions. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm so low key that that is kind of I'm still flirting with that idea just because I'm
Yeah.
shy and I don't know. So
So do you also come up with like the ideas of where you want to shoot? Because now I've seen all of them, and I think the only two that have been in the same place were Ham for B and then Superstar. Every other one has been in different places. So when do you kind of like figure out this is where I wanna do the shoots at?
you know, I live in LA, so there's a lot of the city's kind of just built
Mm-hmm.
for they know that filming is going to happen here in every little corner and crevice of the
Yeah.
city. So there's actually a lot of online resources to help you find places that are sanctioned to by the city to film. You know,
Mm-hmm.
quite often I wish we were doing this back in Ohio because if someone drove by and saw us with a
Yeah.
camera, they would actually probably think it's bizarre but not question it. Where here in
Mm-hmm.
LA, you can actually get in trouble if you don't have rights and
Like
permission to
permits
film
and stuff, right?
permits. Um, yeah. So again, it's a money thing. Can I afford
Yeah.
this space? Because rental spaces are so expensive.
Yeah.
Um, but secondly, um, usually we go into it and there's a whole mood and a feeling. And to me, um, not to be like kooky, but spaces have like a feeling to them. So,
Mm-hmm.
if we're going and looking at locations, you look for that feeling like, oh, this is it, just like
Right. Right.
when anything in life is right. You walk in and you're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, this is it.
Yeah. I will preface this by saying I love every single one of them, right? Every single one I've saved for my playlist. But which one for you was like it? Like number one, numero uno. Which one was that?
They truly are my babies
Mm-hmm.
in many different ways. And obviously the firstborn, the Beyonce and Hamilton, people say there's a love for the firstborn that
Yeah.
is very
Yes.
special. Um, what I will say is, oh man, they are all very special to me. Two come to mind. Um, Purple for Prince, the color purple and Prince mashup we did. For
Um,
some reason, um, I fought so hard to make that happen. And there's a story behind the scenes about that one that will come out. Oh,
yeah.
not, it will be in my autobiography.
Yes.
It
Yes.
was
Yes.
very complicated behind the scenes. I fought so hard to make that one happen. Um, and Queen Sing King, the Lion King piece,
Mm-hmm.
I did, we did. Um,
Was that also shot in L.A.?
that was shot outside of Los Angeles in the desert, but in California.
Okay.
That one, just those 9 women that I got to work with will be my friends for life.
Yeah.
And um, they are such phenomenal women. And and again, there are certain ones where you're in the rehearsal process or the filming process, you're like, I have a feeling this could be something special. Um, and that was one of those times. It was just
Yeah.
so personal, and I was so blessed to be in a creative space with those women.
Mm-hmm.
I will never forget that.
Yeah. Which, you know, what for you kind of keeps you humble? Like I feel like you've now kind of explored so much and you've done so much and you've met so many great people. Just like people like Billy Porter, who for me is everything. And
Hmm.
for me, I would have like lost my mind. It would have been it, like cigar and everything. It's like give me my red carpet now. What keeps you grounded?
Okay. So number one, Billy Porter is just the best heart in the world, and
Yes.
um, just such an artist and such a spirit. And um, I would do a lot to defend that man. He is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Beyond that, um, you know, he- someone someone very close to me said a long time ago, just do not forget that you're a kid from Ohio, and that
Mm.
was all I needed to hear. Like
Yeah.
where I come from, There are no famous people. Where I come from, no one cares about how many Instagram followers you have or how many
Right.
views you have on YouTube. Um, where I come from, things that matter in the entertainment industry don't matter.
Mm.
So that's just that. That's my reality,
Yeah.
like, and especially the last few months have made me realize like the dream is no longer like a mansion or these many followers or this
Right.
car. The dream is like seeing justice for my friends. The
Mm-hmm.
dream is healthcare. The
Right.
dream is, you know, equality as broad and whatever that means. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what it's about. It's not about the
Yeah.
red carpet for me. And I bet
Right.
all that and that stuff is fun. But you know,
Yeah.
that's
Especially
that.
now, like I definitely 110% agree with that. Like just realizing that there's so much more to life than lights, camera, action. We've had to go through this in these last 5 months and realize that life is so much more than that. So I get that. For you, how has it been like having a team of people to assist you in this? Have you been doing this all by yourself? Do you have a crew? How does that work?
I do have a crew. I have a team, but they're really just my friends.
Mm-hmm.
That most of the time I pay to put up
Yeah.
with me. Um, and yeah, I have a really awesome group of young, scrappy artists around me,
Mm-hmm.
and we just make it work.
Yeah.
And this is a creative city. People come out here to create and make stuff happen. So um, the other thing I always say, because other friends will say to me like, "How did you do this?" or "How did you film this?" or "How did you find someone to do this?" And I'll
Yeah.
say, we live in Los Angeles. If you reach out to someone and they can't do it, there's probably 70 other people who we
Who
can
want
find
to?
right now
Yeah.
who do the
Yeah.
same thing. So don't cry. We can figure this out. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm really, really blessed to have a few people who have consistently helped me get my creative vision off the ground. And
Yeah.
I owe them a lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know that you are like this great director and producer and YouTuber, but what is something else that Michael Korte does that we don't know that you're really good at?
Uh, I would probably not much. This is really my life. I kind of just keep to myself. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I would say probably the two things beyond like friends, family, and creating that are my joys. Um, I'm a big sports fan, which is super random, but
Uh-huh.
I grew up in a family that is obsessed with sports,
Yeah.
and sports actually and athletes inspire me so much as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm also a political junkie.
Okay.
I am incredibly politically involved.
Yeah.
Um, Even in the last few weeks, I have been like, do I need to run for something? So
Mm-hmm.
I am a political junkie and really am constantly trying to educate myself on political issues.
Yeah.
What a boring
So
answer.
this but that's good because look, I've interviewed like at least 6 people this week, and no one said that. No one has said anything about sports because I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't even be able to tell you what a sport was. That's just what it is. I don't watch. And as far as politics are concerned, I'm now learning to educate myself.
Mhm.
Especially now. And what we're dealing with both sides of the spectrum here. Just like figuring out, what's important, what's the policy, what do people believe in, and kind of learning because I didn't know, and I was making uninformed opinions about things that I had no idea about. You know what I mean? If you
Yeah,
can answer this for me, um,
please.
the people, especially the younger generation, are so boldly stating that they're not going to vote for either party. They don't believe in either party. What is your take on that?
Wow. Okay. This might not be a politically correct answer,
Mm-hmm.
but I cannot disrespect you if you don't vote.
Mm.
Because for me, what I have learned is this system has disenfranchised, disrespected, and disincluded so many people.
Yeah.
The history of our country has done that. So if you feel so disenfranchised by that, I can understand and respect if you feel like you don't want to participate in that system.
Right.
I have to respect that decision.
Mm-hmm.
Just like anything else in life, if you do something that maybe is not for me, I at least have to respect it, right?
Right. Right.
Um, I don't know. I don't know how. I mean, in America, shit has to change by voting. You know,
Right.
we've
Right.
we've chosen to put these dinosaurs in charge of everything, and how
Mm-hmm.
they get there is by your vote.
Right.
So it's complicated. If you don't like what's going on or you feel disenfranchised, you know, perhaps there's another outlet for making change, you know, and maybe that is protesting or more a more extreme version of protesting, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
Um, I am going to vote. I will say that, but
Mm-hmm.
I understand if you are like, screw the system. I
Yeah.
can't hate you for that.
Yeah. I definitely understand. Definitely understand. Um, I want to get to a question somebody had. I didn't want to. Oh, okay. This is from Sweet underscore Brown Eyes. Have you heard from Disney about Hercules for your muses to be the only muses the world needs?
Ah,
Oh my God.
that's the $1 million question. Um,
Oh,
how can I answer that? Stay tuned. We shall see. I think production on that film has paused like everything else in the world. So
hmm
stay tuned. I will just say I think that my muses should be the muses in Disney's Hercules.
I, I agree. I just don't understand why that wouldn't even be. Why is that even an option? Like that should just be what it is. But I digress.
Right.
I also feel that you pour into so many people. I feel like your videos have like raised the bar for so many other things that go on right now. And I feel like for me, especially watching them, you know, the you will be found challenge and Gaga for rent and all these other videos have really kind of laid something in my spirit. And they inspire me, they uplift me. Who
Mm.
uplifts you? Who motivates Michael?
Mm. I mean, my friends and family motivate me nonstop, and
Mm-hmm.
um, I check in with my friends multiple times during the week, and
Yeah.
just to stay sane. Um, you know, I mean, other artists and musicians motivate me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, I thankfully baseball and basketball is back on, so
Yeah.
I'm getting my baseball fix. And for me, so you know, when I say athletes motivate me, it is because they are so dedicated to what they do. They
Mm-hmm.
get up in the morning, and their whole day is committed to being the best,
Right.
and that motivates me. I'm a huge LeBron James fan, and
Mm-hmm.
just to immediately wake up and every step you take and every morsel of food you put into your body and every mental commitment has
Yeah.
to do with being number one in your lane.
Right.
And I'm not saying I live my life that way, but that's incredibly inspiring to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to say, you know, today I'm going to do everything to be great. Period.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and if I
Yeah.
fail, so be it. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to stay down because I'm here to win.
Right. And I love. Oh, that was great. That was. If I could do it. Oh, that was amazing. What I will do want to ask for those people who are watching right now who want to do what Michael Korte does. One of the things you definitely just said, which is really important, is dedicating yourself to being the best at all times in your lane, even when you fall, to get back up and continue doing what you do. What other components, what other messages could you give these people for those who want to do what you do someday?
You just have to start. You just have to do it. Like there's no one you can't wait around asking, waiting for a check. You,
Right.
you just have to jump in, no questions asked. You know,
Mm.
I do what I do because I saw other people doing it and I knew I could do it better. but I didn't wait for the blessing or the check or the door to open. I just said,
Mm-hmm.
here we go. So you
Right.
just have to jump in. Whatever that looks like for you, you have to do it. Whatever your first attempt, whatever you show publicly first,
Mm-hmm.
that's that. Bam, done. You got
Right.
one in. You know,
Right. Right.
you just have to go. You know, it can't be about excuses. It can't be, you can't fear not having the resources. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you just have to do it. You have to work with what you have. And if you're
Yeah.
meant to do it, other opportunities will come from it. Or you'll realize that maybe that was only one part of your calling, or you're being called somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
it.
love that, and you know, I even with doing my show, we had to do a pause on doing it in studio because of COVID, and
Right.
like learning, like I know you were saying earlier, like having to rethink everything about yourself and your life and where you are right now. And one of the things that I had to learn too was just to get up and go, because if it's for you, if it's meant for you, it will be for you. Period.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And learning that, like, so, you know, God or the universe, whatever you choose to believe in, calls you to do different things in your life. And whatever your main lane is, He will provide whatever is necessary for you to continue growing. You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
I definitely understand that. Mike, thank you so much for being a part of this episode with me. I enjoyed you. I really enjoyed having you. One question I do have: you
Please,
got
yeah,
raps and
ask anything.
producing. Do you sing?
Okay, so I grew up singing. Singing is my favorite thing in life to do. And
Yes.
I was just in the studio with, I don't know if you know who Brooke Simpson is. She is an
Yes.
amazing singer
From
and
The
amazing,
Voice? Oh my
yes,
god.
from The
Oh
Voice.
my
And
god.
she's been in a few of my videos. And we have a project coming out eventually. And we
Mm-hmm.
were in the studio, and she is always on me like, why, when, what's going on? And it, I'm sure everyone can relate. Like it's just, I'm scared.
Yes.
I'm scared.
Yes.
Worked with Billy Porter, and you've worked with B Slade, and you've worked with Brooke Simpson, and you've worked with every other best singer in Los Angeles. You learn to take a seat. You know, if
Oh.
it's not your turn, it's not your turn.
Yes. Well, hopefully we get to hear this voice one day. I'm definitely looking forward to it. We have to. We have to now. You already said it. But once again, it's been a pleasure. It's been a joy. Everybody, please make sure you go and you follow Michael Korte. And like YouTube him, follow him on Instagram. Get to know this man because he is one of the greatest. I'm telling you that. So it means a lot. Thank you so much for joining us and being here with us and just sharing a little bit more about yourself. I really appreciate you.
My pleasure, and we have to do this again, please.
Yes.
I would love to.
Yes, I would love to. All right, so we'll be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock with Miss Tanya Pinkins, star of The Walking Dead. I love you guys for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good
She's
one.
amazing. Oh my God, I'm so jealous. Bye.
Bye.